a lot of our families and friends in Africa believe that those of us living in the United States are millionaires. Now, way back when I first came to the United States, I met a friend on Facebook. He was my high school friend, and we started talking. The next day, he sent me a text. Bro, I need $500. My wife is in the hospital. I need to do a surgery. She was pregnant to give birth. Because I did not have emotional intelligence, I sent him the $500. Now, he really did not need that for that purpose, okay? He was good. These guys in Africa, they can negotiate with their landlord for 6 months and not pay rent. But we cannot do that here. If we do that, we're going to be out the first month. What's up, guys? You're welcome to Wealth Caffeine. And if this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I want to thank you all for sending us the emails. We have been working on some very interesting projects that we are going to be showing on the channel here soon. But as of now, we are back to dropping videos every single week. So thank you all for being part of the family. We are now up to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for joining the family. Today, I want to talk about a very sensitive topic. Why 99% of us African immigrants living in the United States are not millionaires. Now, there are two reasons why I want to talk about this. The reason number one is a lot of our families and friends in Africa believe that those of us living in the United States are millionaires. And this is because of the pictures we put online, our WhatsApp status, the pictures we show them. They see the cars we drive, they see the houses that we live in. And it makes them to believe that we are millionaires here. And even though we are millionaires in Africa, it doesn't mean we are millionaires here in the United States. The reason why they also think that is because Africa is a cash system. For you to be able to drive the type of cars that we drive here, live in the type of houses that we live here, you gotta be a millionaire. And because they buy everything cash. But they don't understand that we live in a credit system. All you gotta do is qualify, have a job and qualify for it, and they're gonna give it to you. So they don't understand that. And so these have a negative effect on us, which I'm gonna share later in the video. The second reason, you can ask me the question. A lot of Americans are not millionaires themselves. It's not easy to be a millionaire in the United States. A lot of Americans are not millionaires themselves. So what's the point? What's the big deal of African immigrants not being millionaires in the United States? Now, our why is bigger than the Americans who were born here. Now, we have left our children, we have left our spouse, our moms, dad, our families back in Africa, and we have moved over here to work hard for greener pastures. Now, this is a huge sacrifice to not being able to see your kids, your family for a long time. Some people have been here 5 years, they've not gone back home. Some 10, they've not been back home. And if we get to go, sometimes it's for 2 weeks. Other times we can only, if we're lucky, we can get a month. But that's about it, and we gotta come back. So it's a huge sacrifice that even a lot of Americans themselves have confined with me. They cannot do that. So our why is bigger. Now, a lot of us have gone through all types of stuff, political and all types of things that we have gone through. We are still going through other difficulties here in the United States. Being who we are, being black, being from Africa, we still go through those things, the bills, the system. We still go through difficulties, and we miss the food we used to eat and a lot of stuff. We have the mental toughness. We have the physical toughness to be able to run businesses, to be able to create things, to be able to invent things and contribute in a higher level. Okay, so our why is bigger than even the Americans. That's one reason why we should be pushing to create and build wealth and be millionaires in the United States. First, I'm going to go through a little statistics. Now, as of 2024, there were almost 3 million African immigrants living in the United States, okay? And out of that 3 million African immigrants, about 60% were workers in the health field. Then the rest were in IT, unskilled labor, and other industries. Now, the Africans who are millionaires in the United States come from the tech industry. They come from the food industry. So those who export and import food and services from other parts of the world to the United States, and from United States to other part of the world. And we have those who made millions from the health industries, either by providing group homes or nursing homes or other healthcare services, owning their own businesses. Now, few others came from crypto world. And then we have those who came from the sports and entertainment industry. So therefore, the question comes in, why are many of us not millionaires? Now, I'm going to go over 6 reasons why a lot of us living in the United States are not millionaires. And if you pay attention to this, and you just have to do it different, and the results will be different for you. Number 1, we as African immigrants, we come to the United States to look for a job. Many of us from Africa, we are not from wealthy families. Those who are from wealthy families do not come to the United States to live and work here. They come here to have a good time for vacations and stuff like that, and then they go back to Africa and live their regular lives. Okay, now those of us who move here, live here, and work here, we are from average or poor families. When we come here, we are looking for a job. There are people who came from Africa and had jobs in Africa, but they came here to look for better paying jobs. And I've had brothers and sisters who's confined to me that they wish they stayed because their jobs and what they were making and the lifestyle they were living back in Africa was way better. So they thought it was going to be better here. But the reality hits. Now, most of us we never had jobs before, so we came here for jobs. Okay, now the issue about jobs is you only get enough so that you can come back to that job. It was never created for anybody to become wealthy. It was never created for anybody to become rich. Okay, so you only get enough so that you can be able to come back again. All right, and that is why they have stuff like retirement benefits, 401k, so you can have something to look forward to when you retire, because they know after 5-10 years, you're going to ask yourself, I've been making 6 figures. Where is all that money? I've been making this type of money. Where is that money? So you're going to start pondering and asking those questions, but then they make sure they put something for you to look forward to, which is your retirement benefits and all those 401k. But a job is a great thing. We all got to start from there, okay? Because from a job, you can now learn the ropes of that job, learn how that industry works for you to be able to open your own business and hire people to work for you, so you can also create wealth. Because when you work a job as a worker, the higher executive of that company don't know you. They don't know your name. They only know your employee number. And that is why you can do a great job for 10 years. And one day you do one big mistake, you're out the door. They don't care. And they don't even remember your name. You are gone. But if you are working a job, even if it's something you're not passionate about, but you are planning on something that you have passion for, or you have talent or skills for, the income you get, you prepare yourself to build your own business, then you can be able to create wealth for yourself, and you can be able to build something that will build wealth and hit you to the millionaire status. The second reason why 99% of us Africans are not millionaire in the United States is our money culture. Our cycle of money is, once we make the money, we spend the money. Now, a lot of times we are like vessels. This company pays us for all the hours and the strength and our energy we've put in, and this other company takes the money for all the things we've borrowed from them. So it comes in here, it goes away there. And some people, they're left in red after all these transactions happen. So we are just like a middleman for the companies to transact their money. So we don't have the culture of investing our money, because wealth can only be created from investments, building businesses, inventing stuff. That's where true wealth comes from, not from the paycheck. So for us, once we get our money, we do not invest it. We go straight to spending it. And a lot of people don't even break even. They are in the reds. So that is also one most important thing. For the wealthy people, they know once their money comes in, there is a portion that goes for investments before anything else is spent. So that is one of the reasons why 99% of us Africans in America are not millionaires. Now, the third reason why we are not millionaires is our social culture. Now, everything we do a lot of times is to impress each other, is to show to each other that we are doing great, intimidate our fellow brothers and sisters. And that's why we buy all these luxury cars, we buy all these five, six, seven, $800,000 homes, and then we throw parties so we can invite our brothers and sisters to come and see that we are doing good. There is so much negative competition amongst the African community here in the United States, which does not benefit us at all. Nobody will tell us this, and I'm not saying this to disrespect anybody. I'm saying this with all respect, and this is because when we go to this car dealership, once we sign those loans and leave, they laugh at us. When we go to these mortgage companies and they give us all this interest rate, all these homes that we don't really need, once we leave, they laugh and celebrate because they're gonna make a lot of money from us. So this is just to help us to share with us, so we know that we don't necessarily need all these things, especially if you've not invested first. If we invest our money first, and then we have now assets, so we can benefit from the compound interest effect, then we can be able to afford this thing, so we are not breaking our bodies and losing our youth and our age just to pay for these things, while the owners or the borrowers are there living the best life. The fourth reason why 99% of us Africans in the United States are not millionaires is our root from Africa. Now, way back when I first came to the United States, I met a friend on Facebook. He was my high school friend, and we started talking. The next day, he sent me a text: bro, I need $500. My wife is in the hospital. I need to do a surgery. She was pregnant to give birth. Because I did not have emotional intelligence, I sent him the $500. Now, he really did not need that for that purpose, okay? He was good. All right, but I didn't know that his wife was okay. I didn't know that. So a lot of the people that come to us and tell us emotional stories take money from us to go enjoy and have a good time, and we just don't know. And sometimes because of our Christian background, we feel like if we don't give it, then we are wicked. We feel like if we don't give it, we are not doing God's work. But we just need that emotional intelligence to understand that, bro, I know you're going through whatever you're going through, but that was not in my budget. I already invested this portion of my money. I have this left for these bills and this stuff, so I cannot help you right now. It's okay to say, no, you're not a bad person, okay? Because these guys in Africa, they can negotiate with their landlord for 6 months and not pay rent. But we cannot do that here. If we do that, we're going to be out the first month. Okay, these guys are not dying, they're not starving, they're not dying of hunger. When they tell us all these stories, we think they're dying. Now, if you know someone is dying and don't have food to eat, or someone is laying down and need a surgery that their life depends on it, then that makes sense for you to jump in and help. But without which, these guys are fine. So we should be able to develop emotional intelligence and say, no matter how emotional your story is, brother, I'm sorry, I cannot help you now. Friend, I'm sorry, I cannot help you right now. And the next point on my list follows with the previous one: budgeting. So when we go to get mortgages, we go to get car loans and all this stuff, when the bankers here are doing our analysis, looking at our debt ratio, looking at our expenses and all this stuff, they don't know that they have to put into consideration our expenses in Africa. It's left for us to understand, to know that we have family in Africa that we take care of. We have this going on. Maybe we have projects in Africa that we are doing. And so we have to factor that in our expenses every month. So when the banker is looking at you here, he or she doesn't know we take care of our family back in Africa. They don't care about that. They don't factor those things in. So they just calculate things here for us. So then when we get all these loans and we're working so hard to pay for it, and something big comes up from Africa or something changes in Africa, now we have to spend extra money there, or we lose our jobs here. Now we don't have savings because we were taking care of people in Africa, we're doing stuff in Africa, and we did not factor that in to our analysis or to our expenses. So now we are lacking. And that's why a lot of Africans, when they lose their job, their homes go for foreclosure. When they lose their jobs, their car goes in back to the dealership because they did not plan for certain stuff. The truth is, if you want to create wealth, you have to have a non-negotiable budget. This has to go for investments first, and then the rest can be spent for whatever you want to spend, for your bills and every other thing else. You gotta have your investment money come out first before the expenses money come out, because a lot of times we just spend everything we make. There is nothing for investment, and that's why we keep working and working till retirement, because we do not invest. Now, I've been to conferences, I've been to investment funds and investment meetings. I see all the immigrant groups, but I don't see us there. We are not represented. We are not there. So that's why I'm really bringing this out, so that we can understand that we are one of the immigrant groups in the United States that is left behind. So we have to learn to develop ourselves. We have to understand how to invest. If we love the Mercedes car so much, invest in the Mercedes stocks first. If we love the Range Rovers so much, invest in the Range Rover stock first. If we love Apple phones, if we love iPhones, invest in Apple companies first. We shop on Amazon every single day. We watch Netflix every single day, but we are not investing in these stocks. You don't need to be an expert to invest in these stocks. All we really need to do is invest in the S&P 500, and this has all these companies all put together. And there are some of us in our community that do invest in stocks and stuff. We have to share this knowledge with our brothers and sisters. We can't be keeping this to ourselves. We have to share that knowledge. And the last reason on my list why 99% of African immigrants are not millionaires is the lack of collaboration. We are the only immigrant group who do not collaborate with each other. There is no wealthy person, even in the United States, who built their wealth by themselves. They have silent partners. They have group of investors that we don't know. We only see the person who represents. So if they did not do it by themselves, how do we think we can do it by ourselves? If you own 100% of nothing, you own nothing. If you own 1% of something great, you own something great. Now, we don't take advantage of our numbers. Now, a lot of us here in the United States do not believe that we can come together and put our funds and put our finances together and do something great. There are neighborhoods in Maryland, Texas, and Ohio that the inhabitants are mostly African immigrants, but the buildings are not owned by us. The apartment buildings are not owned by us. If you can afford a 2025 GLA, you can definitely afford an apartment complex. If you can afford a Range Rover 2025, you can definitely afford at least a 5-unit apartment. And not to talk of if 5 of us come together or 10 of us come together, we can afford a whole huge building. These are the things that we don't take advantage of. We believe in buying liabilities for ourselves so we can show off to ourselves, because the truth is we can only show off to each other. We cannot show off to the white people. They don't care about us. They don't care about what we do, what we drive. They don't care. We cannot show off to our Asian immigrant brothers and sisters. They have a better plan. They have restaurants. They have dry cleaning businesses and all type of businesses, and they understand how creating wealth works. So they're not pressured. So they don't care about what we do. Okay, they have their restaurants and they employ themselves and they work there and they build wealth together. We cannot impress our Mexican brothers and sisters as well. They have a better plan. They have a 3-bedroom apartment and they're in there 6 of them, and they're saving their money and creating businesses, restaurants, and they have little Latino town, Asian town. We are the only ones missing in action. Okay, when I go to this meeting, this investing meetings, I tell you, I see all this other immigrant groups coming together, building a fund and creating wealth. We are the only ones missing. Now, this doesn't help us in any way. We can be here for years and keep struggling and struggling if we don't understand that we have to come together and build wealth together. It's not gonna change our lives. So if you are just coming into the United States, already in the United States, and you're still young and vibrant, you have to take note of all of these points that I have just stated. You should not be moved by what another person is doing. If your friends are buying the Mercedes, buy the Mercedes stock. If they are buying the Range Rover, buy the Range Rover stocks first. Buy your stocks, invest in real estate, and you will definitely benefit from the compound interest effect, and you will be ahead of a lot of people. And after 5-10 years, you will be financially free, and you can be anywhere in the world with your children and enjoying life. We have to share this knowledge, and we have to self-develop, because no one would teach us this. No one will show us this. They are happy that we are spending our money on these things. They're happy that we're giving them money every single day, and we're breaking our back working so hard, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, please do us a favor and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. My name is J06. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.